Hi, this is Julie Campbell for Two Peas in a Bucket, and today I have a Finally Friday card tutorial for you. We're also continuing with our event called Stamping from A to Z, which today's letter is R, and I will be focusing on products from the company Ranger. I also am going to be featuring a couple of stamp sets. These are both from Basic Gray's new Piccadilly collection, and they are manufactured by Hero Arts. I'll be using a clear set. This one, let's see, this one is called You're the Best. And then I'll also be using a rubber cling stamp from the same collection, and it is called Fabulous Patterns. One of my favorite products from Ranger, this is the packaging for it. This is sticky back canvas. It's Claudine Helmuth's product, and I just have a little bit, this is my last scrap that I have left of this product, but basically it's an adhesive backed piece of canvas that you can do quite a bit of different things with. You can paint, stamp, ink this. So we'll be using this. And to start off, I'm just going to put a little scratch piece of paper here. So I'm going to put this is a piece of the white canvas, and I'm going to be misting that with Mr. Yui's Color Mist. This is the Heirloom Blue by Studio Calico. And you might also notice, I don't know if you can see or not, but I have a craft mat. This is also a product by Ranger underneath my product here. That's just going to catch any extra sprays of ink, and it's going to protect my work surface. You could also just, not even use a scrap piece of paper and just spray directly onto this craft mat, and that's fine. But I just thought for today's card, just to make it easier, not to have to do a lot of cleanup, I'm just going to go ahead and use a scrap piece of paper. So I have this piece of canvas misted, and we just want to let this dry for a little bit of time. Okay, now that my canvas has had plenty of time to dry, I'm going to go ahead and stamp directly onto our misted canvas. So I'm going to be using a stamp from the Basic Gray stamp set that I showed you earlier, along with Ranger's Fountain Pen Ink by Jenny Bolin. So you're just going to want to stamp that 2 times onto your canvas. And the second time you stamp, I'm just going to need the top portion, so I'm going to turn that this way just to save a little bit of room, and I can make a second card later using this same canvas. Okay, I've trimmed both of our award ribbon pieces from the canvas, and now I'm going to add a little bit of white detail to the top portion of this award ribbon. And I'm just going to use this white gel pen, and there's like a little scallop border here, so I'm just going to add a little bit of white to the inner lines of the scalloped area. Okay. Now that that is finished, I'm just going to set these pieces aside, and we'll be using these later. The next part of our card is going to be the center of that award ribbon. So we're going to remove, this is a little center that has a rooster that says congratulations. I'm just going to lay that down here on my craft mat and pick it up with my acrylic block. And we're going to stamp this 2 times. The first time, I'll be stamping in the same fountain pen Jenny Bolin ink. And then I'm just going to wipe off my stamp. And now we're going to stamp it in the chili powder ink pad, which is also by Jenny Bolin. And I like to store my ink pads upside down, and then I write the name of the ink on the side, so then whenever all of my ink pads are on my desktop, I can see exactly what I am wanting to be reaching for. Okay, from this point we're just going to go ahead and cut out both of these circles. So, let's see. Here I have the red rooster already cut. And then from the black stamped image, we're just going to need the area that says congrats. So I'm going to trim that here. Alright, I'm just going to adhere this little section onto the red stamped area. And that's just an easy way to get two-toned effect from one stamp. Now I'm going to be taking my Jenny Bolin Malted Milk ink pad, and this is just a really nice, it's like a cream stamp pad that has a little bit of a brown hue to it. It's just nice for antiquing, just adding a little bit of color to the edges. So we're just going to sponge that ink around this panel. Okay, now I'm going to take my little award ribbon here again, and we're going to adhere the rooster onto this section. And then, just to give this award ribbon a little dimension, we're going to put some pop dots on the back of this little stamped area. And then this will just go directly on top. Actually, I should have put this portion on first so I can line this up correctly. Okay, now we have this little embellishment finished, so I'm going to set this aside. So as you can see, the red rubber cling stamps come with, the cling is already on the back of the stamp, which makes it very easy. It just adheres right to an acrylic block. It's ready to go. It's already trimmed. And I'm going to be using the chili powder ink pad also that I used earlier for the rooster image. I'm just going to ink up this background. And then we'll just stamp. Actually, I like to use, this is just a mouse pad that I have on hand, and it just helps a little bit with getting a more clear image when I stamp versus using a tabletop that doesn't allow any give whenever you are pressing down on your stamp. Okay, so here we have our image, and then I'm just going to trim around the edges. And I end up with a panel like this. So I'm going to take the malted milk ink pad again, and I'm just going to go around the edges and add a little bit of ink. And as you can see, my craft mat is protecting my surface, and then you can just wipe it with a paper towel later and it cleans very easily. I'm just going to add a little bit of color here to the middle. It just warms everything up just a little bit. Okay, now I'm just going to take some craft cardstock and mount this panel onto that. I have taken a little strip of pattern paper, and this paper is from the Lily Bee Design Harvest Market 6x6 tablet. So I've just trimmed it to size, and then I have adhered it to a little section of cardstock. I'm going to take my pinking scissors and just go right along the edge. And these pinking shears are it's just something that you can find in any sewing section of a craft store. And then for my finished project, I went ahead and stitched a straight line here at the bottom with my sewing machine, but we'll just skip that step for now. I have a piece of black cardstock, and I'm just going to adhere the pattern paper onto the card. I have a little bit of hemp twine that I'm going to wrap around this panel. And then I'll just tie that into a knot here in the edge. And then we'll just trim the edges, trim the ends, I should say. I'm just going to take my malted milk once again, and it just looked a little stark, so I'm just going to add a little bit of color here to the edge where I've cut, and just a little bit to my pattern paper. Kind of gives it a worn, aged feel. Okay, now we can take our background panel and adhere that to the card. And, excuse me, I'm going to go ahead and adhere this panel to my card base. And my card is a little bit skinnier than a standard card base. I did cut it 4 inches wide by 5.5 inches tall. Now one of the great things about this canvas is there's a layer of adhesive on the back, so you just have to remove the protective paper, and then your canvas will stick directly onto your project. Alright, and there you have our finished project for today. Thank you so much for watching.